previous lecture, we have discussed the importance of the electronics multimeter, and also we have discussed two of the circuit, that how we can use a active device for the measurement of the voltage. Look at this, again you see this one of the circuit diagram. The last lecture already we have discussed this kind of a circuit, and here you can see that we are using a field effect transistor as well as the differential amplifier is there, and I already mentioned that in electronics multimeter the input resistance should be very, very large. So that input resistance is provided by the field effect transistor. The input resistance of the FET is very high, already you know. Then here we have a kind of a differential amplifier, and whatever the transistors are there, it is in a emitter follower configuration. So it will provide a very large input resistance here, and this will provide a large input resistance to the input. And at the input, already you know, here we have a kind of a chain of the resistance which is working as a attenuator circuit. Working as a attenuator circuit. So what is the function of the attenuator circuit? That it will expand the range of the meter. Here the minimum range of this meter, last time already mentioned, it is a 0.5 volt. Then here we can have a 5 volt. Then the next range is a 50 volt. So this meter can measure the voltage from 0.5 to 50 volt. But then whatever the basic circuit we have, this basic circuit will give you the full scale deflection when your input voltage is 0.5. And then if you want to measure the higher voltage, then we have to attenuate the signal 10 times. So you can expand the range from 0.5 to 5. Again, if you attenuate the signal 10 times, then you can measure the voltage up to a 50 volt. Here, whatever the galvanometer is there, it is connected between these 2 points. That is connected to the emitter of the two transistors, and here we have a kind of a balanced bridge circuit. Balanced bridge circuit means what? Whenever the bridge is in balance, then the output voltage is 0. So meter will indicate the 0. Here this transistor is in one of the arm. This transistor is in the one of the arm of the bridge circuit. Another transistor is in another arm of the bridge of the circuit. This 10 kilo is in the third, and this 10 kilo is in the fourth arm of the bridge circuit. So when my input voltage is 0, then whatever the voltage produced at this point and at this point must be safe. So here if it is a 0.1 volt, then this will be also 0.1 volt, and then the meter will indicate a 0 because the potential difference is 0. Now when we apply some voltage, let us say I am applying the voltage of a 1 volt, then in that case here the potential at this point, here potential at this point is increasing, potential at this point will increase, so the potential at this point will also increase, and as a result the current here in this branch will be increased, and the current in this branch is going to be decreased. Remember, here it is a differential amplifier, so in one of the arm the current will increase, then another arm the current is going to decrease. So you will get a potential difference across this meter, and this potential difference is proportional, whatever the voltage is there, this voltage is proportional to my input voltage, and in that manner you can calibrate the meter and you can measure your unknown voltage. So here actually now what is the advantage? Advantage is that input resistance is very high, and second thing, here you don't require a zero adjustment, because in the last lecture I already mentioned, when we are using a active device, then it is a temperature sensitive. So when the temperature is increased or decreased, then the current will also increase and decrease. So always you will not get a 0 volt output when my input voltage is 0. But in this case, whenever the current is increasing in the transistor Q1, by the same amount the current will also increase in the transistor Q2. So as a result, the potential at this point will remain same. So you don't require a zero adjustment all the time. So that is the advantage of this a balanced bridge amplifier circuit. Now what is the disadvantage? Here the disadvantage is that my minimum range of this meter is 0.5 volt. So I cannot measure the voltage which is in order of a millivolt. Suppose we want to measure the voltage of a 10 millivolt or a 0.1 millivolt, then the deflection in this meter will be very small and that accurate measurement is not possible, because this circuit is not a kind of a amplifier. Simply it is a follower circuit, and in follower circuit always we know that the voltage gain is less than 1. So using this meter, using this circuit, we cannot measure a small amount of the voltage, and for that we require a amplifier. So here the simplest circuit for the amplifier is where we use a operational amplifier. Using operational amplifier, we can also construct a electronics voltmeter. So let us see what is the circuit for the operational amplifier. So this is a typical circuit diagram using op-amp, where we can measure. Now advantage of the circuit is that we can measure the voltage also, as well as we can measure the current also. So here both the facility is there. And the operation amplifier. Now already you know that the 741 is widely used a operational amplifier. So also you can use the 741. Now in an operational amplifier, already we know it has a inverting terminal, non-inverting terminal, then the output voltage will be there. So here this positive sign is indicating a non-inverting terminal, negative sign is a inverting terminal. So accordingly we have the configuration. So if you apply the input voltage to a non-inverting terminal, then it is a non-inverting amplifier. In our case also, that whatever the voltage we want to measure, ultimately it is given to a non-inverting terminal. So here we are using a non-inverting amplifier, and the non-inverting amplifier means it is not changing the sign of your input voltage. If the input voltage will be a positive, the output will be also a positive. If it is negative, then the output will be also a negative. And that's why we are using a non-inverting amplifier. In non-inverting amplifier, the gain of the amplifier is given by a 1 plus Rf by R1. So here the 9.1, this is a 9.1 kilo ohm is there, and it is my feedback resistance Rf, and this 1 kilo ohm is a R1. So whatever the configuration is mentioned here, it is a non-inverting amplifier, and we have this feedback resistance and this input resistance connected to the ground. And if you calculate this gain of this amplifier, it is 1 plus 9.1 kilo ohm divided by 1 kilo ohm. So approximately the gain of this amplifier is 10. So if your input voltage, whatever the voltage we apply, it is going to be amplified by the 10. So this non-inverting amplifier has a gain of 10. Then if you look at this input part of the circuit, then in the input part we have a voltage measurement also and the current measurement also. So you can say that this switch is a function selector switch. It is a function selector switch. Means you want to measure the current or voltage, accordingly you have to select the position of the switch. Then whatever the voltage we applied here, this voltage, now look at this voltage will be connected to the input of this amplifier through this range selector switch. And here you can see that this chain of the resistance is nothing but it is your attenuator circuit. Now what is the function of the attenuator? Already just we have discussed that it will expand the range of the meter. So minimum range of this meter, here it is a 10 millivolt. That the V minimum is a 10 millivolt. Then the next range is a 100 millivolt. Next range of the meter is 100 millivolt. Then the next range is a 1 volt. It means when you are switching your switch from 10 millivolt to 100 millivolt, you are attenuating the signal 10 times. Then again when you are moving from 100 millivolt to 1 volt, again you are attenuating the signal 10 times. And if you want to measure the voltage more than 1 volt, then also you can expand, you can connect the resistance in series with this, and you can calculate the value of the resistance. Then the range will be a 10 volt and this can be a 100 volt. In this way, according to your requirement, you can expand this meter. You can expand this range of the meter. So simply, we are using a chain of resistance for a measurement of a higher voltage. Now when my input voltage, remember, suppose my input voltage is a 5 millivolt. Then this 5 millivolt signal will be appear here. Then this 5 millivolt signal, without any attenuation, it is given to the input of this operational amplifier. So the output voltage, here the gain of the amplifier is 10. So output voltage of this meter will be a 50 millivolt. And that voltage will be measured by this galvanometer. Here we have connected, this is a galvanometer, and in galvanometer is connected in series with the 1 kilo ohm. So this is our a voltmeter. Remember, simply it is a voltmeter is there, and it can measure this voltage. Now if your input voltage is large, instead of a 5 millivolt, if it is a 15 millivolt, then we have to change the range. So this selector switch is connected here in the range of 100 millivolt, but my signal, remember, here try to understand that input voltage is 50 millivolts, but whatever the voltage will be appear here, it is going to attenuate 10 times. Means this voltage will be here, it is a 1.5 millivolt. It is a 1.5 millivolt. And if you measure this voltage at this point, it is a 0.15 millivolt. So in this way, the signal is going on attenuating. Now this 1.5 millivolt will be amplified by this amplifier 10 times, and the output voltage will be a 15 millivolt. That you can read on the scale of the galvanometer or on the voltmeter. So as your input voltage is increasing, you have to change the position of the selector switch, and this can be measured by this A741. Now how to measure the current? So look at this circuit. Remember, Here for the measurement of the current, also we are using a voltage amplifier because my basic circuit is a voltage amplifier. So whatever the current is there, unknown current is there, it has to be converted into the voltage. So how this current will be converted into this voltage? So when this selector switch is connected to a ampere position and you are applying some current, then let us say this current I is equal to a 1 ampere, correct? Or let us say a 1 milliampere. My input current is a 1 milliampere. Now this input current is not directly connected to the operational amplifier. This current is going to pass through a 1 ohm resistance. Here you can see in your meter also one of the terminal is a common. So this terminal is a common terminal, remember. And this terminal here you have to apply your unknown current. So in this way, whatever the current we apply, it will pass through the 1 ohm resistance and coming back to your circuit. Then here you will get a voltage drop across the resistance. So what will be this voltage drop? V is equal to given by I into R. Now what is my input current? It is a 1 milliampere. So 10 raised to minus 3. And what is the value of the resistance? 1. So here it is going to produce a voltage of 1 millivolt. Here we are selecting the value of resistance R equal to a 1 ohm, so that the voltage value, the current value will be a corresponding to a voltage value. You don't require to multiply or divide by some factor. Directly you can say 1 milliampere is corresponding to 1 millivolt, or 10 millivolt is corresponding to a 10 milliampere. So in this way your current is going to be converted into a voltage. So here now the 1 millivolt is going to be appear, and this 1 millivolt means I am selecting this switch, so this 1 millivolt will be appear at the non-inverting terminal of the amplifier, and which will be measured by this voltmeter. So in this way we can measure the current. Now instead of the 1 milliampere, if it is a 50 milliampere, then how much voltage will be produced? It is a 50 into 10 raised to minus 3, resistance is 1, so it will produce a 50 millivolt voltage. So this 50 millivolt voltage means you have to connect your range selector switch to 100 millivolt range, and then this 100 millivolt range, that voltage is connected to a non-inverting terminal of the amplifier. And that's why here you can see that what is the range is given. Range is given as a 10 millivolt oblique a 10 milliampere. Then it is a 100 millivolt oblique 100 milliampere. Means here the range selector switch is same, but if you are measuring the voltage, then it is a 10 millivolt. If you are measuring the current, then it is indicating a range of 10 milliampere. So the range selector switch is common for measurement of the current and voltage, but here we have a function selector switch where you have to select either you want to measure the voltage or you want to measure the current. So using 741 or any kind of the operational amplifier, you can measure this voltage. Why we are using the operational amplifier? Because we know that the input resistance of this operational amplifier is going to be very high, and due to this high input resistance there will not be, or you can say the loading effect will be a minimum and we can measure a more accurate voltage. That is the advantage of using a operational. So nowadays whatever the meters are available in the market, in that case this kind of the operational amplifiers are used for the measurement of the voltage. Now what is the disadvantage? Disadvantage is that we know that in a operational amplifier, the offset voltage, or you can say the offset current, or a bias voltage, all these parameters are there. What is the offset voltage? Already you know that when we are not applying any input voltage, then still you will get some Q millivolt in the output of the operational amplifier. Here the offset voltage will be in order of Q millivolt. The offset current will be in order of Q microampere. Remember. So when the input voltage is 0, then this is indicating some voltage. So that kind of the error is possible when you are measuring the voltage. No doubt, here in the operational amplifier, we have the facility for a offset null. And already you know, here you can connect a one potentiometer, and then by setting this here you can apply the minus VCC. By setting this potentiometer, you can set the offset voltage equal to 0. So here the offset null is required. This is known as what? Offset null. And when you do this offset null, then with the input voltage 0, the output voltage of the operational amplifier will be also 0. So this kind of the setting in a meter which we call a zero adjustment. Here it is known as the zero adjustment. But remember, whatever the offset voltage or the offset current is there, they are very sensitive with the temperature. So whenever you start measuring, always you have to set 0. And sometimes what will happen? My input voltage, suppose I am measuring the voltage which is in order of a Q microvolt, very small, and the offset voltage is in order of a millivolt. Then here you will get a wrong measurement, because this is a direct couple amplifier, and in direct couple amplifier is a disadvantage that its output voltage is not stable. That is called a drifting. Here it is known as a drift in the voltage. So this output voltage is going to change with the temperature, and every time we require to set the 0. This is a disadvantage. So here if my input voltage is very small, like in order of a microvolt, then you cannot use this kind of the meter, and we have to go for another type of the meter which is known as a chopper amplifier. That later on we will see what is the chopper voltmeter. Okay. Now one more circuit we will discuss here. Okay. So this is another circuit. You can say it is a practical circuit which is used in a voltmeter, electronics voltmeter. Again, if you look at the circuit, then the operational amplifier is used, and it is also in a non-inverting mode. Because here, why we use the non-inverting mode? So non-inverting mode means whatever my input signal is there, it is positive or negative, the output will be also a positive or negative. Means input is positive, output will be positive. You don't require to change the sign. That's why the non-inverting amplifier is used. And here if you see that this resistance is my feedback resistance and this resistance is my R1, and you can calculate this gain that AV is equal to 1 plus my feedback resistance, a value is 100 kilo ohm. This is divided by 1 kilo ohm. Approximately we can say the gain of the amplifier is 100. So this circuit is more sensitive than the previous one because it is amplifying the 100 times. And that's why here if you see the range, here the minimum range is a 10 millivolt, then the next range is 100, 1 volt, 10 volt and 100. So you can measure the voltage. My input voltage will be from a 10 millivolt to a 100 volt. We can use this circuit. And if you look at the circuit, then this is nothing but it is a attenuator circuit. Attenuator means already you know minimum range is 10 millivolt. When you are going for 100 means you are attenuating the signal 10 times. If you are going for 1 volt, you are attenuating the signal 100 times, 1000 times. So in this way you go on attenuating the signal and you can measure the larger value of the voltage. So whatever the input voltage is there, this voltage will be appear here, and then ultimately the voltage will be appear at the input of a non-inverting terminal. Correct? And non-inverting terminal is going to be amplified by 100 times, and here we have this voltmeter. Remember, this configuration is nothing but it is a voltmeter because the galvanometer is connected in series with this. So this whatever the output voltage is there, this output voltage is measured by this meter. And here this 1 kilo ohm resistance is there. It is simply a potential divider circuit. So my input voltage 10 millivolt is there. Here if it is there, then if you measure it is a 5 millivolt and it is measured by this, and you can calibrate the scale of the meter. Now in this meter, this is a offset null. That just I have mentioned that why you require the offset null, because the offset voltage is there. So we can say that this setting of this meter is known as a zero adjustment. So at that time you don't have to apply any input voltage. Input voltage has to be connected to 0. Then the meter output voltage must be equal to 0. And if it is not there, then use this potentiometer for the zero adjustment. Then one more adjustment is there, which is known as a calibration. So what is a calibration? What is the calibration? That here at the input we apply a known voltage. Known voltage means let us say this input voltage is a 10 millivolt. I know that this my input signal is, so it is not necessary you have to apply the 10 millivolt. You can also apply the 1 volt, 10 volt, whatever the known voltage is there. But accordingly the different position. If it is a 1 volt, apply here. If it is a 10 volt, then apply here. So this is my a known voltage. So the output voltage must be also a this meter. Meter must also indicate a 10 millivolt. Here we have the scale. Minimum scale means the minimum range is a 10 millivolt. So if this pointer, remember, if this pointer is not indicating a 10 millivolt, instead of that if it is indicating a 9.5 millivolt, means there is some adjustment is required. And this can be set with the help of this potentiometer, which is called a calibration adjustment. So slightly you change this position of the resistance so that the new position of the pointer will be exactly on a 10 millivolt. So in this way, in this meter, the zero adjustment is required. Then the calibration adjustment is also required so that you can measure the accurate voltage. Then look at this two more components which is mentioned here in the circuit. The two diodes are there. Correct? Now both the diodes are connected in opposite direction. So what is the function of the diode? This diode are used for the protection of the meter. Remember how it will give the protection. So when you are measuring the voltage, at this time we have no idea that my input voltage is large or input voltage is small, and if we have not selected a proper position of the selector switch, range selector switch, then the voltage at this point is going to be a very large. And if this voltage is large, then whatever the deflection will be there, it will be out of scale. Again, here when I am applying the input voltage, it is unknown. We have no idea that the input voltage is large or small, and sometimes we have not selected the proper range of the meter. Then what will happen? The scale pointer will be out of the scale, and it can also damage the meter. Because the galvanometer is a mechanical device and the pointer is a very sensitive thing, and it can be damaged. So to protect this meter, here we are connecting a diode. So already you know that diode will be in a forward bias when we apply a 0.6 volt. When the anode cathode voltage is more than 0.6 volt, diode will be in a forward bias. There are diodes which has a forward bias voltage of a 0.3 volt in case of the germanium. Correct? So here this kind of the diodes are connected here, and if this voltage at this point, if the voltage is going to be large, if this voltage is a large positive, remember, if it is a large positive, then this diode will be in a forward bias. So, due to this forward bias, the voltage across this diode will not be more than the 0.3 volt. Or if you have some another type of the diode where the forward bias voltage is very small, then your meter will remain protected. If my input voltage is a large negative, then here this diode is going to be a forward bias. So, in any case, the voltage across this diode or the voltage given to the operational amplifier will not be very high, and as a result your meter is going to remain protected. So these two diodes are used for the protection. For the larger positive voltage, then this diode will be in forward bias. For a larger negative voltage, this diode will be in a forward bias, and the voltage across the diode is going to be a fixed, that can be 100 millivolt, 300 millivolt, and the meter is going to be remain protected. Okay. So in the next lecture, we will see a AC voltmeter. How we can measure the AC voltage? Normally, whatever the voltmeter or the galvanometer we have, it can measure only the DC voltage, because it is called a average. It is measuring the average value of the voltage, and the average value of the voltage is what? A DC. But if you take the average of the AC, then always it is 0, and that's why directly if we apply the AC voltage to the meter, it will indicate the 0. But there are techniques through which we can measure the AC voltage. So in the next lecture, we will discuss about the AC voltmeter.